don't see everybody on screen. I see Edgar, you're driving, be safe. For anyone that's, not driving, if you can be on screen, I'd appreciate it. I just like seeing the people that I positively impact, and I try to help out. What's up, Sanjay? Good morning. What's up, Philip? Good to see you, buddy. Welcome.
You too. Morning, Ken.
Coming in from Colorado, right? I know you're driving, so it looks like you're driving, so be safe. No worries. All good. All good. I see Chicago in the house. I see Columbus in the house. I see some Detroit in the house. I see some transplants from California in the house. So, all right. So happy Tuesday, guys. So, I wanted to talk today on Klear channel. First of all, if you haven't had a chance to go on to Klear channel on YouTube and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. If you can go on there and like some of the videos, the ones that help you out and impact you and help you just as a person, I'd appreciate that. And then also I would be thinking about who can I bring to this call next week, right? Who in my team, who in my life, who in my business, who in my organization, a friend, family, whoever, who can I bring along next week? I've gotten feedback that this call helps people, and that's really what it's for. As I've mentioned many a times, my goal is to change the world one leader at a time. And, my hope is that this helps you have a great week, a great day, and eventually, a great life. So today, guys, I'm going to need some feedback. I'm going to need some help. All right. So how many of you guys, by raise of hands, and I don't see any of everybody, have ever heard the saying, feeling the flow? I'm just feeling the flow. All right. So tell me about that. When did it happen? Like feeling the flow, or you're in the zone, I think people have said. Another way that you can describe feeling the flow. When did you feel the flow, or when have you been in the zone? So I'm curious. Tell me about the time. When did it happen?
When I was in high school, it was after my last track meet. I just felt like after everything I had done with track and after being in regionals, I got my medals and I was like, oh yeah, I'm in the zone now. And then states came and I was like, yeah, cool.
Nice. So through that track meet, you felt like you were in the zone, that you're at pretty high performance.
Yeah, I felt like I was floating. It was just like, I was just like going.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking.
Yeah, that's what it's like. That's awesome. Awesome. Who else? Thank you there, Mr. Varman. Thank you, Mr. Varman. I appreciate the feedback. Who else? Who else has felt the flow or been in the zone?
I have, definitely.
Okay, Edgar, tell me about it.
Many times. Many times with sports, playing soccer, like Sanjay said, being up, let's say you have a good game or you have a good, a good tackle or whatever, your energy, your confidence gets boosted up. And when you're in the field as well, I feel like when you do a seal, your energy is just crazy. At least that's how mine is. I motivate myself over that, and I use that as my motivation. And I just, I don't know. I feel like when I'm consistent and I'm constantly doing a sale is when I'm in that flow. Definitely.
Okay. So you felt the flow. You've been in the zone playing soccer, right? Back in your collegiate career. That's awesome.
Correct.
And I see a hand raised in Chicago, Veronica. I see your picture. I don't see you, but I think you raised your hand. When were you feeling the flow or in the zone? I don't know if you're able to talk this morning, but.
Yeah, hey Ken. Feeling the flow back in the day when I used to cheer Michigan and in high school. Just competitions are just repetition. You put in so much work and you know exactly what you're supposed to do, and your body kind of just follows. So definitely similar to these guys. It's awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. Go Big Ten. Go Big Ten, right?
Go Blue.
Who else? Anyone else want to share? Anybody feeling the flow? All right. So I felt it a few times in my soccer career as well. Sanjay mentioned you're like floating. It's almost like time and what's going on around you is like pause. It's like a weird ecstasy. It's like weird, like, and I love the way he said floating, right? Because that's kind of how it feels. It feels like the world around you is kind of, in a crazy state. And I wanted to talk about it today because the older I get, the more I realize that life, in my opinion, is about experiences and about enjoying the ride, as well as making money to do well to get more experiences. And, and the crazy thing I was thinking about is some of you guys may or may not have known, I've been the last 5 days, I've been in Park City, Utah with my family, snowboarding and hanging out with my brother and seeing him, the cousins hang out, and the kids hang out. And it was just an absolute blast, an absolute blast. I mean, there was like 48 inches of snow in the last 5 days. So every day we went up on the mountain, there was like 6 to 12 inches of fresh powder. And for anybody that skis or snowboards, the locals at the ski shop are saying they haven't seen conditions like this in 10 years, which what we got in the last 5 days, which was pretty awesome. But I was also thinking, like, while I was there, how I remember younger in my career, I didn't enjoy the experiences I got a chance to be a part of as much as I wanted to, because when I was away, I wasn't really away. I was still at work. I was still in my mind, quote unquote, worried, on top of whatever. I was really just like, I was away going to the World Cup in 2014, to Rio de Janeiro with some of my best buddies. 2018, same scenario in Moscow. And I remember again in some of those experiences, some of those days, I wasn't strong enough mentally to really enjoy the experience I was going through, to really be in the moment and to really, in a way, feel the flow. And so I realized as in this trip, as I, saw a little bit towards the end of it and I was flying back, how important it is for high achievers to learn how to control their mind, to turn off their engine. And even if it's for an hour, even if it's for a day, even if it's for certain moments of time. Because if you don't learn how to do that, pretty simple, is you're going to burn out, right? Your mind is going to go all the time. And it's like an engine that never turns off, a car engine. If you don't turn it off, it's just going to burn out. And so my goal today is to educate you guys, support you guys with getting into harmony with your flow state and knowing how to, kind of give you tips on controlling your mind. And when they say, feeling the flow or being in a flow state or getting into the zone, it's really a state of mind. It's really a mentality. And, things that do happen are things that some of you guys have already said. Things like you lose track of the world around you. Time flies by. It's like, in the business at times when I was in the field, even today, if beginning of the day happens and then next thing you know, it's like, oh my God, where'd the time go? It's like 7 o'clock already. Like, how'd that happen? Right? So that means for the last couple hours or whatever, you were just in the zone, you were feeling the flow. The other cool thing is your productivity skyrockets. It goes up big time. And then there's a deep sense of fulfillment, a deep sense of accomplishment. And, I'll tell you, I think the best moments occur when you're stretched and you get into that flow state and you start high performing. Now, the interesting thing is I did a little bit of reading about it, and I've been listening to some audio books about it, is that all of this is controllable. It all is from within. There's actual things you can do that you can create in your mind to get yourself into a great state of mind. And then there's also things you can do if someone's not in a great state of mind to click yourself into a great state of mind. You know, and your mind is an interesting thing. You know, they say the mind is like the earth. So whatever seeds you plant in earth, you water those seeds, even if the seeds are, I don't know, seeds of prosperity, seeds of optimism, seeds of growth. And you water those seeds, that's what's going to grow in your mind. It's like a beautiful flower you may have given a family member on a holiday, like on a Mother's Day or something. But the truth also stands for the opposite. If you plant seeds of pessimism, of challenge, of fear, of despair, those seeds, if watered, if thought about a lot, will grow as well. Right? And again, the same thing goes with the earth. If you plant, I don't know, something that's not good into the earth and you water it, like I think cyanide's bad, but you water it, it's going to grow. And so the key is watering the right things. The key is getting into the right state of mind to grow, to help others grow around you. So what does it feel like to be in the flow state? So you become super focused, you get completely immersed. You know, there's this sense of ecstasy that you don't feel every day. You have no energy towards distractions like that phone that you carry around with you. It's just like it goes away because you're so, you know, in like imagine, and again, like when I played soccer, even again later in my life, and I'm older now, I would be playing soccer in a game, trying to enjoy playing in a men's league or whatever, and I'd be thinking about work. It doesn't help you be productive on the soccer field, right? And you know, the distractions, the fear of failure, the other BS that gets in your way, it all just kind of it's not important. You lose track of time and you just get really hyper focused on what you're doing. And so there's some tips for you guys that are taking notes. There's some tips if you want to be in flow daily or consistently. One of them is simply having a daily task that stretches you. And this could be at work. This could be not at work. This could be just physical activity, things that you don't normally do, something just different, something that's out of the norm. That's one way to ignite your daily flow or to get into it consistently. Another way to, you know, get your flow going or you know, really get in the zone is become really obsessed with your big picture. Become really obsessed with your big picture. So there's people that I know on this call that have dreams of coming through for their family. You know, buying a home or creating a home or buying a car or doing just nice things for people they love. So if that is one of your things, I would challenge you and I would ask you, okay, what does that home look like? What does the entranceway look like? What does the kitchen look like? Is there graphite on what kind of counters do you have? What kind of appliances do you have? Where do you live? What neighborhood? Do you know how much the home costs? If you're a car person, okay, what type of, are you a leather person? Are you gonna get 22-inch rims? Are you gonna get spinners? I don't know if those are still cool, but are you gonna get like something you like, right? Are you gonna have twin turbos? Is it gonna be diesel? Is it gonna be electric? Like get into the details. Because when you become obsessed with what you want or what you want to accomplish, you know, and you have little things daily that you look at, it helps you get into the flow to take action, right? So get obsessed with that big picture. The third thing is discipline yourself around your goals. Discipline yourself around your goals. You know, it's so common early in my career, I would set goals to do things, and I wouldn't follow through on them, but I would still reward myself. And, you know, and I'll tell you, the interesting thing is that's actually counterintuitive to teaching your mind on how things go, right? So if you constantly give yourself a reward for not actually accomplishing your goal, then you're just going to become second nature to rewarding yourself before things get accomplished, right? So back in the day, as an example, in the sales, I used to set a goal to hit a certain amount of productivity, and it was $1,000 a week in commissions. And if I hit that $1,000 a week, then I would go out on Friday and Saturday night with my buddies. If I didn't hit that goal of $1,000 a week in production, I wouldn't go out on the weekend. I really liked going out like a lot. But I conditioned myself to not reward myself unless I hit my goal. And I almost like made it like painful for myself when I didn't. I'd like stay home and like read a book, which is not on the top of my list of things to do, but I know I do it for work because it helps me get ahead. But I would do something that's the total opposite of what I wanted to do, so I could feel the pain of not accomplishing to then be excited about accomplishing. You know, there's an old marshmallow theory. You guys ever hear of the marshmallow theory? You guys ever hear about that one? Raise your hands if you guys have heard the marshmallow theory. Some of you have. So it talks about delayed gratification. They have like 5-year-olds. There's a bunch of YouTube scientific research. They had a bunch of kids at 5 years old that would they would sit in a room. They'd basically get all these kids. They'd sit them in a room individually, put a camera on them, and they'd say, "Hey, listen, little guy, little girl, if you cannot touch this marshmallow for 15 minutes, then when we come back into the room, you're going to get 2 marshmallows. You can eat the marshmallow at any time. You can eat the 1 marshmallow right now, but if you wait, you're going to get 2. And it's crazy. So they walk out of the room and they just leave the video on and watch these kids. And the kids are like this. They're like staring at the marshmallow. They're like, you know, they're like kind of like making like faces at it. They're like staring at it. You know what I mean? Like going crazy over it. Who? We all want marshmallows. You know, like, come on. Right? And so these little kids are like going nuts. And over the course of 15 minutes, sure enough, some kids ate the marshmallow and then other kids didn't. And the kids that didn't eat the marshmallows, they got 2 marshmallows. And what they did in this scientific study is they followed up with these children 15, 20 years later to see how their lives were turning out compared to this little marshmallow study. And what they found was, statistically speaking, the kids that waited and had delayed gratification later in their life had happier lives, had a more flourishing careers, had better marriages. It was really, really crazy. The statistics showed that people who were able to delay their gratification ended up being, you know, mentally and physically and psychologically sometimes in a better spot. So think about that and how that applies to your world. All right. Other ways to ignite your flow or consistently be in it. You got to learn how to frame your experience. Got to learn how to frame the experience. So how do you frame an experience? Well, you make a video of what you're doing. So this weekend, as an example, when I was snowboarding and skiing and everything else, it's so cool. One of my nephews, my brother's oldest, had his GoPro going a lot of the time. And I actually already sent it over to our SEO team. And it was just super cool that he was able to GoPro and video a lot of our runs. You'll see me flipping one time. I went head over heels pretty good one time. It was pretty funny. But you know, but the music that he put to this video will help you remember a certain time of life, right? And just to give you guys another little FYI, so the music I play when I start this YouTube channel, or this video I do every Tuesday, I play the same music, right? Every single week. It happens to be my wedding video music. The music that my brother-in-law put to my wife's and I, he's a videographer, that he put to our wedding video they made for us. Again, it puts me in a certain state of mind, a certain flow state, so I can be at my best to really help impact you guys in a positive way, right? And so that's why I think any of the athletes on the call, you probably had a certain song that you always listen to when you played your sport, right? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. You all do, right? Isn't it crazy? Like, you can think of the song right now because we're like, oh, I remember, yeah, I used to play, I don't know, Eminem or whatever. There's like certain songs that you played. And, you know, when I was back in school, I'd have my headphones on. We'd have our pregame meal downtown to State College, and it would be a, you know, Italian meal. I'd go back to the locker room. I'd have to polish my shoes. I have my headset on. I'd listen to my 4 or 5 songs in a row. It's like certain times, there'd be certain things. And, you know, it just got me into this frame of mind, right? So the other things I would do to get in the frame of mind is, as you're listening to me, so what I'm telling you is, if you want to get into the flow state today or later today or tomorrow or this week, you know, create a musical, a playlist, right? Create, you know, have something that's consistent that'll get you going, right? Music will do that for you. And also take it in. Take time to breathe. Take time to be, you know, and again, I talk about gratitude a lot, but take time to be grateful for what you have, right? You know, when I was riding up on these lifts, I literally at times, I was with my nephews and my brother, I just looked at them. I was like, man, have you ever seen mountains this big? You know, these are some of the biggest mountains in the world there in Utah. And I think Park City is one of the prettiest places on the planet. It is unreal. And, but you got to take a second to take it in and enjoy the beauty of what's around you, right? And then lastly, I already said this, you got to breathe. So just if you want to ignite your flow, you want to get in flow, you want to, you know, get things rocking, you want to have a great day, again, something that stretches you daily. You know, that's why I work out. Even though I got home late last night, for the record, we walked in the house and the heat, there's something wrong with our heater. Thankfully, they came by this morning and already fixed it. So me and the boys and Sarah slept near the fireplace last night because they couldn't come by in the middle of the night. But got up this morning, got the kids to school, did what I had to do, got to the gym, did my thing. But that's how I'm stretching myself. I ran this morning. I got, you know, my workout in. I got in the sauna. Like, I'm getting myself. That's my stretch in the morning. That's what I do personally. Being obsessed with my big picture, I mean, I do that all the time. Everything I look at is about houses and cars and whatever. Those are some of my little fun things that I have lined up for as I hit my goals. So keep that in mind and eliminate distractions, frame your experience, music, etc. All right. So what will this mean? So Chris, I see in the call, I see Sanjay on screen. I see Edgar and Lavelle on screen. I see Audrey. Thanks so much, guys, for being on screen. I see Chris and Sal there. So, and Philip. I see Kareem. So I'm curious, what does it mean to you guys if you're getting the flow? What will getting the flow mean for you and your life and your career? I see Gabriel. What's up, buddy? Drive safe. So you guys tell me, what would be getting the flow mean? Lavelle, you know, feeling the flow. You're an athlete, right?
Yeah, it's just riding the highs. You know, when you're in that flow state of mind, nothing really matters. You know, you're doing everything right. It just happens. It's just happening. It's secondhand nature. Like it's just secondhand. It's just going, and nothing can stop you. There's nothing that can stop you at all. So
Right.
like,
And from the audio I was listening to about the flow state, they literally said, you feel like Superman. Like that's a Superman state was what they were referring to. And one of the things I was listening to this morning is they're talking about, you guys ever see in Chicago, and if you guys live in Chicago, maybe you remember this. Do you guys remember the 2 or 3 guys that jumped off the Empire State Building with like squirrel suits on? You guys remember seeing that or hearing about that? So there's some, I don't know their names because I was listening to it this morning, but they're talking about how these dudes literally, they went to like Switzerland somewhere, and they're literally going to walk off the side of the building and jump. And they got 1,000 feet to fly in a squirrel suit and land properly. And based on aerodynamics of the buildings and whatever else, they couldn't prepare like they normally do. But they had to get in the flow state beforehand by preparing in another part of the world to do what they had to do so they wouldn't kill themselves, essentially, right? Which is crazy. But so anyway, so what would it mean to you to be in a flow state more consistently?
Yeah, I guess just the biggest thing is there's so many things that happen in life that like distract you out of like the flow state of mind where you're like floating. So just like eliminating those distractions and just go through life not worried, floating through it. That's like my biggest thing. Just like not worrying.
Okay. So to help you remove the worry side of life, if you're in the flow state more often. That's awesome. What else? What would it mean to you guys if you can get in the flow state of mind?
I think, Ken, what that can be is having and maintaining the same excitement or more for whatever things we do. Like you mentioned, the squirrel suit or people who skydive, for example. The reason why they like it, the reason why they love it, and they don't mind doing it all over again, because it gives them the same exact feeling as the same time, like the first time they did it.
Right.
So that's what flow means for me. Or like for me, I'm not an athlete. I love to be one, but what gives me a good flow when I'm, let's say, in the field and I get like 3 or 4 apps back to back, and there's like this positive aura around me. That's the flow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. It's so interesting too when you're in the field, like going from 0 to 1 account is like this uphill battle, and then when you get 1 to 2, it's like flattens out, and then it's like downhill from there. Right? Like so crazy that it could be that different as you're kind of getting started. Anyone else want to share? And you don't have to. I was just curious.
I think part of it is not even necessarily all the accomplishments that come with feeling that way all the time, but I feel like it's kind of like a placebo. Like you just feel better, you just feel happier, you feel healthier.
Right. Yeah, and so in my opinion, getting in the flow state of mind and what it will do to you, and just in doing your career, is you won't have to have as much quantity of opportunities that you'll need to hit your goals. So it'll be more quality as opposed to quantity, right? So it's like in sports, if you have one shot and you're in the flow state, you'll hit the bucket, right? You take one shot, you put it in the back of the net. If you have, if you're not in the flow state, you may need 15 or 20 shots to hit a bucket, right? So what you're going to start to see is that you're going to make more money quicker in our business by having one customer close, 2 customers close, 2 for 2, 3 for 3, 4 for 4, things like that, as opposed to being 1 for 4. And then it's also going to help you start achieving your goals that really matter. It's going to have you achieve your goals faster. You know, the common mistake is when there's inconsistency in our business, people's careers go like this. Instead of consistently just little by little going up. And 99% of that is just confidence and being in the flow state consistently and learning how to control and to impact yourself on a day-to-day basis, right? In sports, people who aren't able to get in flow, they don't make it into the pros. They get weeded out in high school or college. It's the ones in the pros, like I think of, you know, like the Steph Currys of the world and some of these athletes that just do incredible things and they make bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket. And of course, there's a lot of practice that comes along with that. But if you watch any of the YouTube videos about these guys and about how they prepare and how they do their day-to-day, a lot of it's mental preparation and then physical preparation. You know, again, we just came off the Super Bowl kind of thing with the GOAT, right? The guy spends $1 million on his body to make sure he gets in the flow state to show up to play football in his 40s. You guys know that like getting hit by an NFL player is like getting into a car accident at 30 miles an hour. It's nuts that guy's still standing. And it's nuts that people get hit that hard and still can be standing, but different story. All right, so just to review, I want to activate my flow state today, right now. So Sanjay, go over this with your team. Edgar, go over this team. Alejandro, Gabriel, Chris, all you guys. Sal, number one, play some music. I want to activate my flow state. Play the music. Find out with your team, what's their favorite song? You guys are riding out to the field together? Play the song for your buddy. Get them in the flow state. Get them fired up. Right? Another way to activate the flow state is play sports. For those of you guys and girls that are athletes, get out and play. This week, next week, create the time. Another way to create the flow state, for those of you guys that don't play sports, maybe you play video games. You can actually create a flow state in a video game. Right? But a lot of the creating the flow state is doing things you love to do. And creating the time to do those things. Again, I love to work out. I love to take care of my body. It was pretty cool. I got a chance to run into an old coach of mine when I was in Utah. I had posted something on Facebook that we were out there and as a family. Literally, my high school club soccer coach moved out there. I hadn't seen him for 20 years. And he sent me a message on Facebook. He's like, "Hey, Kenny, I'm like 15 minutes from you." And he's you know, he was, when I was 14, 15 years old, he was in his late 20s. So he's like 15, 20 years older than me. And I said, "Hey, we're at this resort in Canyons Resort in Park City." He's like, "Oh, I'm 20 minutes from there." I was like, "Why don't you come by?" It was so awesome catching up with him. Like I hadn't seen him literally for 20 years. He told me, so I used to go back and coach when I was in college. I used to coach the local club teams, the high school teams as the Division I player that came back and helped the little kids and whatever in the summer times. And it was my old, you know, club coaches that would put it on. I didn't realize it, but I'd given him one of my jerseys from school. And he told me in his company recently, they had a jersey day. I know we do a jersey day in our office every so often. Like, who do you support? Who do you represent? And he wore my jersey for the jersey day. He's like, "Kenny, I wore your jersey. You're one of the guys I'm so proud of, that you went on and played in college and you know, meeting your family now with your boys and your beautiful wife. Like, it's just so cool that I had an impact on you in your sport and in the sports side of things." He's like, and it was kind of funny when he was at work. somebody goes, "Oh, Penn State, huh?" He's like, "How did it go?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "When did you play?" He's like, "Years ago." He's like, "I was so already into it." He's like, "I couldn't tell if I didn't play and it was you and whatever. I just went along with it." So, but it was so cool. He talked about some of the games back in the day in high school, my buddy Taylor, and how our parents got into a brawl one time in one of our games. I mean, it was just such good times catching up with him. But yeah, but my point is, guys, is get out and play. Get out and play. All right. So some takeaways, guys, for things that I was trying to help you guys with today is essentially how to be at your best, right? How to get in the flow state, how to get in a great state of mind, how to enjoy the day-to-day, and how to move forward. So key takeaways: block time for yourself, for you. Put in your schedule on a weekly basis time for you. All right? People that tell you, "Oh, I don't have enough time to work out. I don't have enough time to, I don't know, do something I enjoy." They're just making excuses. They don't care enough to do it. Make time. Number 2, read, watch, do things that are for you. I call it BK, before kids. A lot of you guys are BK. Trust me when I tell you, AK, after kids, it's harder. Right? When little humans can't wipe their own tail, you have to do it for them. So get into this understanding and state of mind and organizational skills today, now, BK. So when you get older and you are blessed with children in your world, you know how to handle and do it even better. And then last but not least, make sure you talk to yourself in a positive way. I say this all the time. The most important conversation you have is the conversation you have with yourself. Positive self-talk. You can have it all. I can have it all. We can have it all. And I'll leave you guys with this. So on the mountain this weekend, you get a chance to run into a lot of people. I shared a story the other morning about some random dude I rode the lift with who couldn't afford to get on the lift. It was a lift from the resort I was at to get on the main lift and go up the mountain. I mean, the ski lift tickets there's like $180 a day or something per person, and which is not cheap. And this guy I was in the lift with, you're drinking a beer first thing in the morning, and he was just kind of a interesting guy, but he couldn't afford to get on the main lift, and he only got a couple runs in when they weren't checking the lift tickets and they weren't checking the things. And I was like, huh. Another couple I ran into were physicians out of California. They lived actually pretty close to where I was from in Redlands, for you guys that are from Cali. And they were out there, the two of them. They met as doctors, and they saw my hat. It was a Penn State hat, and the lady goes, "Oh, I'm going to get my MBA at Penn State. I don't know if I'm going to be a physician anymore." I was like, "Why?" "I don't know. I just midlife crisis, I guess you'd call it." Okay, cool. And then another group we ran into, literally, there's these new bikes you can get that are skiing bikes. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those. There's like literally you can ride on the bike, and there's like a seat, and they have like sleds essentially, or skis on the side, and you like ride the bike down the mountain like this. And it was very interesting because the group had an individual that had no legs that was riding this bike down the mountain. And there was another individual that was, kind of behind them, that on their kind of jacket, it said blind skier. And there was a person that was like blind skier's guide. And and of course, Brady like says to me, he doesn't know better. He goes, "Daddy, that person doesn't have any legs." He's like, "Daddy, what does it mean to be blind?" And so I'm like explaining to my 8-year-old on the ride up on the lift how you can do whatever you put your mind to. And he couldn't, he's like, well, how are they gonna, and he was like he couldn't put it together, right? But I can tell you, if people can do those things to enjoy the ride down the mountain, to create that flow state, we can do it on a daily basis, right? It's just a matter of teaching yourself to look things in the right way and to think the right way and to make the choices on a daily basis to help you, move towards what you want to accomplish. We are all very blessed, not only with this opportunity, but to have what we have and to be able to accomplish whatever we put our mind to. So happy Tuesday. Hope you guys took a lot from this. Have an amazing day today. And I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. But we'll see you guys next week, same time, same place, Klear channel.